What's up, guys? I'm back again. I got another recoil guide for y'all. It's pretty much the same as the last one, just with a little more detail and a little extra added information. But anyways, let's get to it. The first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna go through most of the ARs and just show you their recoil pattern. So these people who haven't found a main gun they want to use, this might help you out a little bit. If you already know what gun you want to use primarily, then you can just skip this part and click the link up above to go straight to the recoil. Anyways, let's get started. So for the purpose of this video, I've reset all my sensitivities back to default. We are gonna start with the 7.62 guns, and then we'll work our way to the 5.56 guns. Now, I'm not going to control the recoil at all, and this is just so you can see how the recoil of each one of these weapons works. Now, the AK is my personal favorite. I love this gun. I can control it pretty well. It does have some pretty good recoil to it, but it's not nothing that's too uncontrollable. Next, we're going to move on to the barrel. Now, the barrel's recoil seems to be more about the same as vertical, but more is better horizontal. Now on to the ace. If you ask me, the ace is pretty close to the same as the barrel, probably just slightly easier to control. Now we're going to move on to the MK47 Mutant. Now this gun is not full auto, it is burst or single fire. That being said, the burst fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. Now in the right hands, this gun is very deadly. Now we're going to move on to our 5.56 weapons. And we are going to start it off with the G36C. Now it's not too bad. Definitely controllable, a little less vertical recoil than most of the 7.62 weapons. Now on to the M4. Now I probably should have did this one a couple more times because I feel like it is more accurate than this showed. But it's a staple gun that a lot of people use. Not a bad choice. Now here is the M16, which is also a burst fire weapon and shoots as fast as you can pull the trigger. Again, very deadly weapon, just like the Mutant in the right hands. Now, personally, I'm not a fan of the Scar L. The recoil seems to be about the same as the M4. I think that one's just more personal preference. M4 has more attachments, so I think it's a little better. We are now looking at the QBZ. It is extremely accurate, especially when it comes to horizontal control. So if you can control that vertical recoil, it is a laser beam. Looking at the AUG. Again, very accurate gun. Its horizontal control looks pretty good. Vertical's slightly higher than some of the other guns, but all around, very good choice. And now the K2. As far as horizontal control goes, I mean, it pretty much stayed right on the line. Solid choice. And right here we have a comparison chart for all of them. Now, I just do want to say that not every one of these guns are on every map, so choose wisely. Also, screenshot this or pause the video here so you can get a better look. Now on to some of the sensitivities. We're going to first start with some forward running sensitivity and movement sensitivity. This is just, you're going to have to just play with this one until you get a feel of how you like your character to move. Higher values will make you like start running quicker or easier. Lower values will make you take a lot more input to make your character just get up and start running. Personally, I like my character to be able to get up and go pretty fast, so my sensitivities usually range a little on the higher side. But this one's more just personal preference. Just play with it and find one that feels good to you, where your movement feels smooth, and yeah, just go from there. And yeah, I see, I like mine on the bit on the higher side. Also, I like to turn aim acceleration off. Don't really like it. I feel like it messes with my aim. Some people do, some people don't. Just preference again. Now we're gonna mess with our general sensitivity. This is how quickly you look around without aiming down sights. I like to just find 3 pillars like this. It could be pillars, these flags, whatever. And you want to be able to jump from one to one, each one, and land on it to hit it. So if you're moving too slow or not getting to it quite to it, increase your sensitivities. I would suggest by increments of like 3 or 2. And see, I feel like I'm slightly off. So we'll go by half a point. And then you're not going to be perfect, you're just trying to get close. When you feel like you're good, take shots. See if you hit on them pretty good. You can jump between them. This is just so you can flick onto targets really well. And, you know, just land them shots quicker, because every second counts in this game. And feeling pretty good. And you notice how I stop aiming between each one. It's because it's much quicker than trying to drag over while aiming down sights. You see them guys that'll jump from your buddy to you. Now we want to head over into the practice range, and this is where we're going to find our initial setting. This is where you're going to find your red dot setting. So you want to follow that middle target, and you're trying to follow it and be as smooth as you can. If you feel like you're having to slow down a lot to keep up with it, that means your red dot sensitivity is too high. If you feel like you're dragging behind it, your sensitivity is too low. So of course I felt like I was jumping ahead of it too much. So trying to follow it. Still dragging a little heavy. Yeah, that feels much better. It feels a lot smoother. Now we move over to the actual recoil of the guns itself. I want to pause the video right here just to give some pointers. Use the gun that you are going to want to main, be it the AK, the M4, whatever. Don't use the one I'm using just because I'm using it. Use your main. Also, when you go to shoot your guns here, pull down on the right stick the same every time. Don't try to compensate for shooting too high or too low. That's where we're going to go in and change your sensitivities to fit how far you pull down on that joystick. So that way you can get as close to what is already natural to you. So the very first thing you're going to do, set your target to 50 meters. And the very first thing we're trying to get, since we've already found our one-time sensitivity, right now what we're trying to find is our vertical sensitivity multiplier. So we are going to be aiming center target. You're going to pull down the same every time you shoot. So as soon as you fire, pull down and hold it wherever it feels natural. And don't forget to reset the target after each magazine you've emptied. And I recommend doing 3 clips each, and don't use extended mags. You don't need it anyways. So all 3 times felt like I was shooting low, which means my sensitivity is too high. So we need to lower our vertical sensitivity multiplier. Now I recommend going by increments of 10. Okay, see, that time still low, but it's better. And it's still low. So we're going to go back into our settings. We're still shooting low. Go another 10. Still shooting low. So we're going to go by, again, another 10. And each time, make sure you reset the target. So that one felt really good, but again, you want to do it 3 times just so you can be sure. And it felt a little high to me. Oh yeah, make sure you keep stocked on ammo. So you're gonna just have to get a feel for it, and for me that felt like I'm shooting a little high now. So that if I'm shooting a little high, I need to increase it, and I increased it by 5. I know 80 was too much. And if you enjoyed this video and it's helping you, please consider liking and subscribing. It helps me a lot. Thank you guys. So it still feels a little off, so we're going to go back in and change, and we're going to just lower, or I'm sorry, increase it by just 2 points. And sometimes you're just going to mess up there. That was my own fault. I like that. That felt relatively good to me. And once it feels really good to you, that's when you want to kind of control the left and right movement. Now we're going to move on to the 2 times, and this is where you're going to start you're going to leave your vertical multiplier sensitivity where it's at. You're not changing that again. We're going to now move on to our 2 times sight, and this is where you actually start changing the different sights sensitivities. Again, same thing. Aim center. Pull down the same as you would with the red dot. And so far, it feels like I'm shooting high. Which means my sensitivity is too low. So we're going to go and we're going to increase it. This time I'm only increasing by 0.5s. So it feels like it's, I wasn't too sure, so we're trying again. If you need to, try as many times as you need to, but I felt like I was shooting still a little too high. I mean, my sensitivity's too low. So you have to increase it. I only increased by 0.2 because it didn't feel that bad. Feels pretty good. And if you notice, your goal on the target on your left when you're shooting is you're trying to keep as many of the 30 rounds out of your clip into that circle as possible. But now we're working on the 3x. Now, way too high. Definitely shooting just too high, which means my sensitivity is way too low. I'm going to increase that one by full 1 because it was shooting way, way, way high. Still shooting high. It still felt really high, so I'm going to go up by another 1. I'm still shooting high. And remember, the same pull down on that right stick every time. Now, if you're not used to the process like I am already, then I would still recommend only going up by 0.5 each time. But I got pretty spot on there with the 8. with the 8 sensitivity, which I think it's still yeah, I'm not too happy with it, but it's not too bad either. I probably could have got that one a little bit better. So we're gonna move on to the 4X. So 4X, same thing as the 3X. I'm shooting way high, which kind of expected that. So again, I moved it up by full 1. Still shooting pretty high. And we're gonna go ahead and increase it by another 1. Better, but still high. All right, so we're still shooting high. You'd be surprised by how much stuff will go up. Oh, look at that. I was setting the wrong sensitivity. We're gonna go change it a little bit more. This time by 0.5 because it felt pretty close. Now 29 out of 30 bullets hit in the middle of that. Within that circle. 20 out of 30. $28 out of 30. Now that's pretty damn good. So now, once you have all those set, we're going to actually go and completely deck your weapon out. Everything except for a magazine, you don't need that. But if you can put a foregrip on it or a stock on it, put it all out. And you're going to redo this working backwards now. Start with your 4X. Look at that grouping. That was really good. That was a dead man right there. If it feels really good to you, you're getting 28, 29 out of 30. You don't need to mess with it. But if you're not, and you're shooting, just say you're shooting slightly high or slightly low, just change your sensitivities by 0.1 at this point. Just to really fine tune it in. See, look at that, 30 out of 30. Just that couple little 0.1 points in there, and not even hardly nothing. That's 30 out of 30. We'll move on to the 2X. All right, there was my own mess up, and that does happen. Another 30 out of 30. Yeah, see, I went ahead and tried it again because I wasn't too sure. But it does seem like I might be shooting a little low. Or it could have been me. Had a little trouble on this one. I couldn't tell whether or not if I needed to change it. And I think I left that one alone. Now to the red dot. Another 30 out of 30. Out of 30. You're good. And if you crouch, you should be even more accurate. And that's it. Hopefully this video helps you control your recoil better, to find those sensitivities that are just right for you. And if y'all have any questions or any suggestions, please leave them in the comment. I will try to respond to everyone if I can. And if y'all have any suggestions on videos y'all would like to see, just also leave it in the comments. Thanks for stopping in, guys. Y'all have a good one.